Hi everyone, so I see there's news of Alberta and Saskatchewan possibly forming stronger ties with the US. The US already wants us as a 51st state, so I don't know how this is going to play out. But I am not giving up applying for jobs in America. And one of the reasons is that as a spiritual director, I'm not getting the support here. So you would think that the priests in the Archdiocese of Toronto and the sisters, the nuns, you would think they would want somebody like me on their team. But they're not. They're not hiring me. They're not putting me forward for jobs. They're not recommending me for positions in the church. And it gets very hard because the family don't treat me like I'm anything special, the relatives. They don't see my position in the church as anything important. And now that they told me they can't help me with any more money, they all coordinated it, it's very hard for me. So there's more support for the church in the US than in Canada, because in Canada it's very, very hard when your own politicians who are Catholic are supporting euthanasia without any safeguards in place. And they tell you one thing, but they do something else. They said they were not going to implement this euthanasia. Now they've implemented it. Even in my being forced to get that psychiatric assessment, the fact that I'm a spiritual director and I said no should have been enough for them to say, okay, you know what, Ms. Fernandez, we understand there are some conflicts in this report. There are some things we're not happy about, but we have accepted your decision. So whoever set this up, set it up from the time I came to Canada. And my aunt told me it was them, my Uncle Marcus's wife, Delise. So I don't know how much of this is them. I don't know how much of it was done through the UK. But my life has got nothing to do with any family, friends living in the UK. My decision to become a spiritual director has nothing to do with them. And it's very difficult for me to understand why the Catholic priests in the Archdiocese of Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver would not put forward my name for positions in the church, knowing that putting me into banking, putting me into corporate jobs, putting me into jobs that are not aligned with the values that the church is promoting is going to result in me getting hurt. I don't understand why you would do that to somebody when I've had people who are my spiritual directors who know me, who like me, who trust me, and who are part of the Society of Jesus, not only here in Canada, but in South Africa, in England. The Sister Eileen is part of the Sisters of Notre Dame. She also supported me in rejecting that report. And the family has no right to tell me that, yes, it's fine. Anybody can say in their presence, their almighty presence, that they want me, they recommend this medication. As an individual who is educated, who is accomplished, not only in the teachings of the church, but who has a medical background, I have the right to refuse it. And under the human rights laws in Canada, I have the right to say, I'm not comfortable with this. Because at the end of the day, my aunt is not going to take that medication. Neither is my dad's brother, Marcus. Nobody else is going to take that medication except for me. Neither my mother, my sister, my brother, nobody else is going to take it. And if my family doctor had felt at any point that, you know what, this faith of yours is in conflict with what I'm doing with you as a doctor, he would have told me, Dr. Ng. My new doctor has also not told me that. In fact, both of them have told me the opposite, that yes, you should carry on praying, you should carry on journaling, you should carry on going to church. Dr. Ng also supported me getting a position in the church. So why would Regis College go through the trouble of educating me? And I didn't do it in 3 years or 2 years like other people. I did it over 7 years. I studied part-time to get this degree in theology and a diploma in spiritual direction. To the family, I'm just Belinda. It's just her. So they don't care if I'm a spiritual director. They don't care if I'm accomplished in the church. They don't care if I hold a ministry in the church. The church is the one that should be giving me a position. The church is the one, and Regis College is the one that should be putting my name forward for positions, not only here in Canada, but in wherever, in Rome, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, because our church is not like other churches. And I'm pushing on this because of what's happening in the society. Because if you're not working with like-minded people, you're not working with people who have the same values as you, you're not working with people who know the importance of Good Friday or Easter Sunday or Christmas, what do they care? As long as their business keeps going, what do they care? As long as they make that next million, like Bill Gates, what do they care? These people orchestrated all these disasters that we're having, all this COVID and all of that. They orchestrate it, and then they force millions to take their vaccine, which has not even been tested. And if you don't take it, you're going to lose your job. I mean, now the doctors came out and they told everybody that those vaccines didn't work. It was a natural cycle of the disease, and whoever survived, survived because of survival of the fittest. So now they're preparing the next pandemic to come out and the next round of experiments of vaccines. I mean, it's ridiculous. And all those emails I wrote to Marcy Lynn, to Justin Trudeau, to Marco Mendocino, supporting the church against MAID, they basically came out and said, we have decided that this is the way it's going to go, just like Hitler. So what is the point of being a spiritual director, of being the protector of souls, the guardian of souls, if even your own aunts and uncles will not stand up for you and say, you know what, that might be the decision of the medical community, but if you have decided you do not want to do this, we will stand by you. They'll do it for my mother, but they won't do it for me. And that is completely unfair. It's completely unfair. I don't need to go to the UN. I don't need to go. I'm not interested in all these big organizations. I tag them because they are the ones who put the messages out there that Canada is on a slippery slope. Canada should not implement MAID. Canada is having violations on workers' rights. Canada is not respecting workers' rights. It's coming from the UN. So how come somebody like me can't get a position? Other people who got let go after me already found jobs. People that got let go after me have found jobs in insurance, in banking, in healthcare, in churches. So how come I can't get a job? That's my challenge to the Archdiocese of Toronto. Why did you bother to train me? And even with the support of Father Larry and Monsignor Sam and the rest of the team at Blessed Sacrament and Newman Center and St. Basil's and all these churches I helped at, why can't you find a position for me? That's my challenge to Stephanie, the HR director for the Archdiocese of Toronto. It's discrimination to say you haven't worked in a church. What about all the masses I helped at? What about all the administration I do as a volunteer? What about all the retreats I've directed online? What about all the help I've given to all the Jesuits at Regis College, the Jesuits in Britain? Where's that support for me? All of you want support from me. Where's that support for me? All of you are willing to see me out on the street, living off welfare, and then, like my aunt will tell me, I told you this was not going to end well for you. Or maybe it should end well for me, for a change. Because our family, the Fernandez family of Alex Fernandez, is always expected to be there for everybody else, especially me. Where's that support for me? Where is that support for me? and I'm a good spiritual director, where is that support? Where is my job? It's not right what people are allowing to happen to me. And I'm not going to stop saying it because it's wrong.